A major political shakeup has just rocked Texas and could, really reshape the future of the Republican Party. Congressman Dan Crenshaw, a former Navy SEAL and honestly one of the most recognizable Republican figures in Congress, has lost his primary election in a stunning upset. NBC News projects that Texas State Representative Steve Toth defeated Crenshaw in the Republican primary for Texas's 2nd congressional district. The loss makes Crenshaw the first sitting member of Congress to lose a primary election in the 2026 midterm cycle. The race quickly became one of the most watched political contests in the country because it, represented a deeper struggle inside the Republican Party, a battle over loyalty to former President Donald Trump and the influence of the MAGA movement. Crenshaw, who has served 4 terms in Congress, has long had a complicated relationship with the conservative wing of his party. While he supported many policies of Donald Trump, he also broke with parts of the MAGA movement on several major issues. Crenshaw supported United States aid to Ukraine, backed the resettlement of Afghan allies after the withdrawal from Afghanistan, and voted to certify the results of the 2020 presidential election. Those positions angered some conservative activists and commentators who accused him of not being fully aligned with the movement. His challenger, Steve Toth, built his campaign around that criticism. Toth argued that Crenshaw had drifted away from the priorities of the MAGA base and promised voters that he would represent a more consistently conservative voice in Congress. Toth also received an important endorsement from Texas Senator Ted Cruz, which gave his campaign a significant boost in the final stretch of the race. Despite being heavily outspent, with Crenshaw raising more than $1.5 million more than Toth, the challenger ultimately prevailed. The victory marks one of the biggest primary upsets so far in the 2026 election cycle. Crenshaw acknowledged the loss in a statement, saying it had been an honor to serve the people of Texas's 2nd congressional district. He added that his life has always been about serving the country, and that his commitment to public service would continue. Crenshaw's story has long made him a unique figure in American politics. Before entering Congress, he served as a Navy SEAL and lost his right eye during a combat deployment in Afghanistan. After recovering, he returned to duty and deployed overseas 2 more times before eventually entering politics. He was first elected to Congress in 2018 and quickly became one of the most visible Republican lawmakers in the country. But his outspoken style also created friction inside his own party. Crenshaw frequently criticized what he called grifters and performance artists within the conservative movement, a comment that angered some activists who believed he was targeting pro-Trump influencers. Meanwhile, Toth positioned himself as one of the most conservative lawmakers in Texas. A former megachurch pastor and longtime state legislator, Toth has built a reputation for pushing hardline conservative policies. In the Texas legislature, he has served on and off for more than a decade and has frequently challenged members of his own party whom he believed were not conservative enough. His victory now sends him to the general election as the Republican nominee in a district that remains strongly Republican. But Crenshaw's defeat was not the only major political development in Texas this week. Another massive political battle is now unfolding in the race for the United States Senate. Texas Republicans are heading toward a dramatic runoff between longtime Senator John Cornyn and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. The race has already turned into a fierce battle that could shape the future direction of the Republican Party in Texas. Paxton, a controversial but highly popular figure among MAGA supporters, has built his campaign around loyalty to Donald Trump and a promise to challenge the Republican establishment. Cornyn, on the other hand, represents the more traditional wing of the party. He has served in the Senate for years and has strong support from many national Republican leaders who believe he would be a stronger candidate in the general election. However, Paxton supporters argue that the grassroots base of the Republican Party is demanding more aggressive conservative leadership. Adding even more drama to the race is the question of Donald Trump's endorsement. Trump has not yet endorsed either candidate, but has hinted that he will soon make a decision. On social media, Trump said he would announce his endorsement soon, and suggested that the candidate he does not support should drop out of the race. Because Trump remains the most influential figure in Republican politics, his endorsement could dramatically shape the outcome of the runoff election. Meanwhile, Democrats believe they may have an opportunity to compete in Texas. State Representative James Talarico won the Democratic Senate primary and is quickly emerging as a rising star within the party. Talarico now has time to introduce himself to voters across the state, while Republicans battle each other in the runoff. Some Democratic strategists believe the prolonged Republican fight could weaken the eventual GOP nominee and make the race more competitive in November. The developments in Texas highlight a larger trend across American politics. Across the country, primary elections are increasingly becoming battles over ideology, loyalty, and the direction of political movements. For Republicans in Texas, the results suggest that the influence of the MAGA movement remains powerful. Crenshaw's defeat may signal that voters in some districts are demanding stronger alignment with Trump and his political agenda. At the same time, the Senate runoff between Cornyn and Paxton could become one of the most closely watched races in the country. With control of the United States Senate potentially at stake, both parties are expected to pour enormous resources into the contest. And with Donald Trump preparing to announce his endorsement, the political drama in Texas is far from over. The coming months could determine not only the future of these candidates, but also the direction of the Republican Party heading into the 2026 elections.